Flashbacks. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to try. The technical explanation of a flashback is when your brain is hitting the receptors in your temporal lobe are making you think of past experiences, and your brain is in a state of subconscious, in a sense, in which those that memory is at the forefront, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know. I can't talk most days anyway. For me, I get very, very vivid flashbacks. Sometimes they're really, really awful, like ones that I'm on his bed and I'm staring at those white blinds, hoping that Amanda will come back. But maybe next time I'll scream, beating myself inside for not doing so the first time, realizing that it must be wrong if I have to be quiet. Flashbacks like that, they suck. And then there are the flashbacks that get me down to my core. And they get me there not because of the violence or the fear or because they're a flashback of Dustin. No. Do you know what the worst flashbacks are? I'm sitting at a table and I'm eating dinner. And for a second, not much longer than that, I am sitting at the dinner table with them, with mom, dad, and my brother, and Dustin, and we're sitting and carrying on like a family. We had to paint the kitchen. We painted this dark forest green. I don't have much other description for it, but Amanda and Ben came over, and it was just everybody as a family. Those ones are hard because then when I get back to reality and realize, okay, this is definitely not real, I have the remnants of that feeling of safety, but not completely. Sorry. See, he was hurting me during those times. So I remember how I felt in that moment, how I felt both safe and happy to be there and wanting so badly to get out of that room so that I didn't have to be near him. When they say that the flashback overtakes you, it really does. You are no longer in reality. You are no. I am. If I were having a flashback right now, I'd be sitting here and I'd be talking to this screen and I'd go into what I call autopilot, or in most cases, it's either autopilot or blank. Like I just stop. Everything just stops. At least that's what I've been told. Autopilot is when you're having a mini flashback where you are viewing what's going on and but you're aware enough to know that it is not real. Okay? Those ones your body goes autopilot, you're still doing your stuff and things can happen. Like I burnt myself cooking because I was on autopilot cooking, stirring the pot. I'm not here. I'm somewhere else. Pan hit my stomach and hurt like a son of a bitch. That is what I would call a mini flashback. A full blown PTSD or CPTSD flashback is when you are not with it anymore. One of the worst experiences I had with a flashback, I was, so when I was in working at a gas station, and it was late at night, and it was just me, and I thought, you know what, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's okay. And while I was outside having a smoke and feeling like, you know what, it's just, I'm just having a bad day, I have the flashback. When I say the, it's because it is the one that I recall the most. It's the most vivid of the flashbacks. It's the one that takes me over the most, and it is unfortunately one that involves Dustin. You're probably thinking it was the rapes or the molestations or the torture. And I suppose in a way it was kind of the torture because he tortured me with mind games and fucking with me. I can't say that he never physically like abused me, like he never punched me or hit me or anything like that. But you don't need to do that when you're intimidating enough. And he sure found his ways of doing that. There's a game that they play in the country where they throw a very hard rubber ball against a wooden door. Okay, and to test your resolve, friends would stand by the door while they're doing that. That game scared me. It always did. I never liked it. I never wanted to play it. I didn't want to be around him when he was doing it because he got this. I don't know. I wish I could describe the look on the face. It's it's like I could see it in his eyes what he was thinking in those moments. I could see the pleasure he got from the control he was asserting, from the pain that he could cause. So many times when he played this game, I avoided like the plague. In fact, I would choose to go into any other door except for the one closest to the barn. One day he made me stand in front of it. Anything make me like, oh, he physically put you there and no. See, when people fuck with your head and you are living in a religious household and you are told to respect your elders and do as your siblings say when the parents are away, there are very easy ways to convince a person. For me, it was simple. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm in charge. Play this game with me. Stuff like that. I kept my eyes closed the first time he threw it, and it just whipped right beside me. He seemed happy to do what he did, scare me like that. He liked that. I think so, at least. I think he liked the fear in my eyes, the avoidance, the not wanting to be around him. And I know you're thinking, like, that is not. How could that be a traumatic um, flashback for you? Well, how can that be the worst one? Because I've had a lot of memories of him and what he's done, but having the memory of him taking joy in your suffering is just. There were a lot of hard moments. I mean, definitely the one I mentioned at the beginning with that memory. Suppose I could tell the story that goes along with it, eh? See, he had been hurting me for a while. Um, Started off as most things in this situation, I guess, do. Him wanting my clothes off. Well, we had been playing this little game of his for a while, and I remember one day Amanda wasn't supposed to be at the house. I was in his room, and she came home. He told me to not say a word, not to move. Don't let her hear us. It's the first time I realized that was the moment. That was it. That was the death defying, change everything moment. See, up to this point, he had been telling me that what we were doing wasn't wrong, that it was okay, and because we weren't having quote unquote intercourse, that we weren't doing anything against God. Naively, I believed him. I did. I I thought, okay, you know what? I don't want to be a bad girl. I'm not a bad girl. I'm not. I'm a good girl. I'm not doing anything against God. I'm not doing anything wrong. If I was, I'd know about it. I mean, he's the adult. He's the babysitter. Like, he's my brother. He wouldn't do anything to hurt me. Not really. I mean, yeah, he scared me and he was doing things that I didn't want him to do, but he wasn't actually hurting me. He wasn't hitting me. He wasn't. I still had a roof over my head. I was okay, right? I honestly believed him. I did. I believed him when he told me that he didn't hurt Brittany. That he wouldn't do that. That it's our special thing. I didn't want the fucking special thing in the first place. So, when I had to, when he made me be quiet, so when the questions started, sure, he noticed that too. There's some stuff I can't quite remember. They come back in bits and pieces in the flashbacks. Um, some of them make me question whether or not the whole intercourse thing happened or didn't happen. More so for the fact that I blocked out a lot. Can't block everything out. Can't go back in time. Can't re-examine my life and be like, okay, this is when that happened, and this is when this happened. I got no timeline, people. I know concept of when it started, of when I know when it ended. Close to my 13th birthday, I things really started to slow down then, which I was grateful for. But a few thoughts crossed my mind, especially on my 13th birthday. It was a great birthday, I'm not gonna lie. Um, I really did love my foster parents. I loved the gifts they gave me, the camera. I took pictures of all the people I loved in my life, not Dustin. And, you know, but the whole day, inside, something was wrong. On that side, I was celebrating and hanging out with my cousin Victoria and just having a good day. And my foster mother gave me makeup for my birthday, which I was ecstatic for because, I felt like I was growing up finally. And think about it this way: you're caught in an existential question. Keep the best life you've ever had, hands down, with the potential of him continuing to hurt you and possibly when old enough, full on rape you. And by that point, you would be with this family for so long. He would be the golden child for so long that no one would ever believe you. That is what went through my head at 13 years old. That is the first thought that went in my head. Is what is going to happen if I stay? Flip side, what will happen if I tell the truth? Okay? I was afraid to tell the truth for many reasons. Biggest one, and you see, the biggest thing for me wasn't the whole fear of, wasn't the fear of going anymore. It, like, yeah, the big fear was going would be to lose the family and lose the love that I once got from them. And I knew that would be hard on me. Of course it was going to be hard. The biggest thing wasn't so much if I stay or if I go. So what was going to happen when he found out? Want to know what causes a lot of flashbacks? That. That that moment caused multiple ones for me where I still recall that moment of existential crisis of not knowing what choice would be the right one to make. That was hands down probably the hardest day of my life. And it was my birthday. So you gotta know how much I love birthdays. And it did. It caused a lot. It caused a lot of flashbacks for me in the sense of like this this was a huge choice for me. Like beyond huge. Doing something about the man that hurt you when you were growing up while you're still living in the home and thinking at the time, like at the time I knew that this was not over. This was just the beginning. That no matter what choice I made, that it was just the beginning. And it was. It was indeed. It was the beginning of what has turned into the most pivotal things in my life. Yeah, that's flashbacks.